Hey folks, here it is, your promised Intro to Data Analysis, sort of first day of class video. I am going to talk a little bit about me. I'm going to talk a little bit about the class, sort of how to find things, and a couple of technology things that you may want to go ahead and look at and make sure that you can effectively do. So, as I said, this is Intro to Data Analysis, Sociology 302. I am your I am your professor, Kristen. My name is Kristen Bethune. A little bit of information about me. I have been at UNCG in some capacity since 2007 when I came here for undergrad. So I did my undergrad degree here in sociology. Then I came back, did my master's in sociology here with a concentration in crim. And I think this is my 5th semester teaching at UNCG now, so I have been here for a hot minute. And I know the university and its system pretty well at this point. I like to sort of throw that out there for folks. If you're having any sort of issues with the university itself and the bureaucracy, I am a pretty good resource for that. So happy to help in any way that I can. I also like to tell folks on the first day that I am a first-generation college student. While I find that many of our students are first-generation college students, the vast majority of our faculty are not. And so it's another thing that I like to throw out there, again, as sort of this helpful thing for students. If you are struggling in any way, shape, or form with navigating this bureaucracy that we call the university, please reach out to me. I'm here to help in lots of different ways. So not just for statistics, but in all aspects of life. Talking a bit more about me, I actually think most of you guys have actually had me before. Looking over the roster, it looks like I have a lot of repeat customers this semester. So thanks for coming back. That makes me feel good. I guess I'm doing something right. We'll see how this course goes. Most of you all had me for social inequalities. Maybe a couple of you had me for 101. But obviously, data math is a little bit different than talking about social theories and social inequalities. So we'll see how this goes. If I had told my high school self that I would be teaching a math course at a university, high school Kristen would not have believed me at all. I thought I hated math. I thought I was terrible at it. And I actually am surprisingly really good at statistics. And it's something that I really come to love and enjoy. So I'm hoping that I can sort of help y'all on this journey as well. This is my first semester teaching statistics, so thanks for being my guinea pigs. I feel like, especially those of you who had me in fall of last year for 225, y'all are just my guinea pigs in general. So glad you guys keep coming back for this. Statistics can be hard, right? It tends to be a class that students kind of dread taking. But I'm hoping together that we can make it something that's maybe not so terrible. That's my little spiel about me. I'm sure you will learn more and more about me as the semester goes on. I don't have a problem sharing things when I talk too much sometimes. So I'm sure you'll get to know me even better than you already do throughout the course of this class. So y'all can read. I'm not going to go through every single thing in the syllabus for you just because you can read. And you don't need me to take up your time with me reading the syllabus to you. So I'm just going to go over some highlights, right? Talking about attendance, talking about this weird schedule thing. I'm really sorry, y'all. This was not what I wanted either. So, meh. Navigating the course website. We do have a course website. I bet you were thinking to yourself when you saw things start popping up, wait, we don't have any readings? This is awesome. Kristen loves to assign readings. But just you wait. We also have a course Discord that I'm going to talk about, as well as tokens. So first things first, if you go into Canvas, you will see that I have uploaded a document called Schedule that has all of our course days, and everything is color-coded. The color code is at the bottom, but while we're here, green means that we are online, asynchronous. Yellow means that I will be in person in our lab, but no one's ever required to come to class. Blue means that we are synchronous online. And I've done this for the days that we have reviews for our quizzes. So instead of having multiple tests throughout the semester. We have 4 quizzes and 1 final exam. Only 4 of them count though. So if you do well on the first 4 quizzes, you do not have to take the cumulative final. But I do have a online synchronous plan for the days that we do have a review. So that way it was more fair to students who were in like one of the groups, right? If you're in group A, you only come on Monday. If you're in group B, you only come on Wednesday. And I wanted everyone to be able to access these review sessions. So that's why we're doing those online, just so that everybody can be there at the same time. So talking about attendance and coming to campus, we're living in the middle of a global pandemic. In case you didn't know, sure you did. So because we are living in a global pandemic, there are lots of issues and barriers to coming to campus for lots of folks. Those of you guys that have had me before know that I don't believe in attendance policies pre-COVID. So definitely are not sticking to an attendance policy now that we're in the middle of a global pandemic. If you are sick, feel sick, have been around someone who is sick, please do not come in and expose me or your classmates. Please just don't do that. Right, you can do everything that we are doing in this course online asynchronously if you want to. If you want to come in for the lab days, I think that it might be pretty helpful to folks to come in for lab days and to watch what's going on in lab days online synchronously when it's happening. So like if you're in group B, you'll see that on February 1st and February 3rd, right, so Monday and Wednesday of that week, I will be in the lab present. And I'm doing 2 different things, right? So I will be using Panopto, which you can access via Canvas, right, to watch it live. Or if you don't want to watch it live, you can access it via Canvas, or I'll post it to our course website. So you can access it both ways that way, if you're watching it after the fact. But I would highly suggest for these lab days that you have SPSS open with me while I'm doing these things. It'll be way easier if you can click along with me, right? Pause it. If you're watching me on a webcam, right, pause it, do the stuff I'm doing, then press play again and catch up with me, right? I think that it's really helpful to do something like that. Or, right, if you want to come into the class for those days, right, come in on your respective day, whether you're A or B, and you can do it in class with me. And I'll also be around to troubleshoot. I do not teach on Tuesdays and Thursdays this semester. So if you find yourself struggling at any point in time, reach out to me. We'll set up a Zoom meeting, and we can do this stuff together via Zoom pretty much any time on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I will always be around to help. Right, that is sort of that. So we have 4 quizzes, an exam, right, but one of those is optional. The lowest grade is dropped, right? So if you take the first 4, you do okay on 3 of them and like kind of tank the fourth one. If you want to take the final and just see how you do, totally fine. And then other than that, we have 4 homeworks, and the homeworks are going to be non-SPSS, right? More in line with either calculating some things. Early on, we'll do calculations, right? You can calculate mean, median, mode, standard deviation, all that stuff by hand. But eventually, we're going to start doing tests that you are not going to ever want to do by hand. And that's where SPSS comes in. And so SPSS, right, is our data analysis software. It will run lots and lots of complicated tests for you. We're not going to get into many super complicated tests. That comes later on in grad school, if that's something that you're interested in. But we will be doing some SPSS stuff. So homework is non-SPSS, and then you have 4 SPSS projects, right? So you will notice, right, there's project 1 due, right, project 2 due, right, all these things. You'll have 4 of those, and they are going to have you tracking one variable. So when using SPSS, we are going to be using the General Social Survey. So if you see GSS right here, that is General Social Survey. And it's a general social survey, right? So it is done every few years, asks a bunch of people a bunch of questions. And so what you're going to do is you're going to pick a variable that you're interested in. So almost always we have students who pick feelings on cannabis legalization or cannabis use. There are some things on some crime issues. There are things on politics. I think when I took this class in undergrad, my variable was trust in the government, and I looked at that by political party. and other things, right? So you are going to pick one variable that you're interested in studying, right? So if you pick mine of how much do you trust the government, then right, that's going to be your variable for the whole semester for all 4 projects that we do. And then we'll be using other things like demographics, like age, race, income, education, political affiliation, religious affiliation, right? All of these sort of demographic standard questions to analyze your specific variable. And part of the benefit in doing this and doing it this way is that you guys can all sort of also help each other, right? So if one of you picks cannabis legalization and the other one picks trust in the government, y'all can work together on your SPSS projects or whatever, because you're still going to have to come up, you're going to have to do it individually, right? You're going to have to be able to run your data and tell me what your data says. So if you need help as far as like, how do I run this test? I'm always here to help, but you guys can also work together because, again, your answers are going to be different for your homework and your SPSS project based on what your specific variable is. And then finally, at the end of the semester, I have something called like presentation day on the syllabus. So you will take what you have gathered in your information from projects 1, 2, 3, and 4, and you will sort of put them all together. You can either record yourself doing a presentation with like a PowerPoint, kind of like this, or you can write me a paper if that's something you would rather do. If that's something you're more comfortable with, that's cool. However, you're best suited, right? Whatever makes the most sense for you and for how you like to do things. And so you'll just sort of give me, right, this summary of your 4 projects really at the end of the semester, right? You'll tell me overall, what did you learn, right? What do we learn about this variable? Like what's some interesting stuff, right, that we found about this variable, right? General stuff. So I will give you guys a list as we get closer into the semester, sometime around March. I'll give you the list of requirements for what you'll need to include in that final project. But that's what you got. So one more thing before I move on from this section is your ability to redo homework and SPSS projects. So statistics, like almost all math, is cumulative, right? It all builds on top of each other. So if you get lost in unit 1, like you're never going to make it to unit 4, right? As unfortunate as that is, that's sort of how math works, right? We're going to do building blocks and foundations, and we're going to build up to like our final units. So that being said, if you completely bomb homework 1 and you have no idea what you're doing, it does not behoove you or me to just let you flounder and not figure out what's happening, right? So you are able to redo any homework assignment that you have submitted and done poorly on. When you do this, right, you will need to attach your original homework with my feedback, and then you can redo any problems that you missed. Once you do this, right, I will take your first homework score and your second homework score and average them, and that will be your new score for the homework, right? So this gives us all this opportunity, right, to sort of catch up if we miss something, if something's wrong, if you have missed a huge concept and you didn't get it. This will allow us to sort of go back and like catch that back up so that you don't get totally lost in the future. That's that. Our course website. So you'll notice on Canvas, if you go to Canvas under announcements, I have an announcement sending you to our course website. It is very important that you are logged into your UNCG email to access this website. So I'm kind of weird about the internet in some ways, and I don't really like the idea of anyone being able to Google my name and then I pop up with my website and my phone number and all of this personal information about me and all these videos of me. I don't know, what makes me feel weird. So I have our website blocked so that only people with a UNCG email address can access it. So if this pops up on your screen, this Google 404, that's an error, the requested URL was not found on this server, that means that you are not logged into your UNCG email account. So the best way that I have to remedy this, right, is to copy the link, right, to the website, open a browser tab, go to mail.uncg.edu, log into your Gmail, and then once you are in your Gmail thing and you're looking at your inbox, paste the website link then into that same browser tab, and that almost always fixes it. If you are like me and you use Google Chrome, I have my personal Gmail attached to Google Chrome. And so that's my default login for everything. If you are the same way, that's totally fine. I can extend access to individual accounts. So, right, like I said, mine's Chrome is always logged into my personal Gmail, and so it gives me a little bit of trouble sometimes. And if that's the case for you, like it is for me, shoot me an email, ask for access, and I can grant that to you so that you don't have to sort of fight with it every time. So this is what it looks like when you've done something wrong. But this is what it looks like when you've done something right. Right, I have our course website. It is going to contain the vast majority of the information that you need to be successful in this course. All right, so this is the homepage, sort of gives you that general blah, blah, blah spiel of course description and learning objectives, as well as some funny, terrible graphs, because that's one of the things that we'll be looking at this semester, right, is graphical representations of data, how it's done wrong a lot, and how it can be done better. And how it can be done accurately. So this is our course website, right? As I said, there is a syllabus tab. So the syllabus tab, if you click on that, will take you to a much more condensed and easier to read version of our syllabus than just reading through a 6-page document, as well as it has our due dates, right? It has a schedule on there underneath syllabus. And then you'll see we have units up here in the top right, right up here. Right now, the only one on there is Introduction to the Course. Oop, went too far. Introduction to the Course. However, that will start expanding, right? So next week, you'll see Unit 1 pops up. And then I may have subpages within those units. I haven't quite decided how to organize that, but we'll see what works best when as we start getting along. So once you get to these units, right, this is Introduction to the Course. So I'm going to paste this video right here. All right, well, my welcome to 302, blah, 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 video discussing the course. And it is going to be a YouTube video. I find that when I do my lecture videos, if I'm not in the classroom, it is 1,000 times easier for students to access them if they're just YouTube. So that will be there. And then, right, you also have your first token opportunity, which I'll get to in just a second. But this is where you will find the vast majority of lecture videos, of any sort of reading that you may need to do. As I may have mentioned, you don't have to have a textbook, right? So I use statistics for people who think they hate statistics as my sort of guide, which I'll be using to sort of give me some backup information, help guide the lectures. You're welcome to purchase this. Like I said, I have the 5th edition, which is an older edition. I think they're out with the 7th now. I have that one on an ebook that I got for free from the publishers because they like to give professors free textbooks. So I have it. That's what I'm going to be using. But if you don't want to spend a bunch of money on a textbook, I'm not going to make you do that. Because I don't know about you guys, but I find that just reading about math is not super helpful. Like, as I told you before, I'm not a math person. So reading about math like that wasn't really helpful for me when I was in statistics. It was really more about like listening to someone talk about it and explain it. But if you're a reader person, if that's how you get your information, these are great. As I said, if you get an older edition, it's normally way cheaper. And while some of the examples change and update as we move forward in the newer editions, the basics of how to do math has not changed in quite some time. So you are totally fine to buy an older version. And if you are excited about the idea that I don't assign readings, because as those of you who have taken me before know, I do love me a good reading. Don't fear. There will be lots of things for you guys to review on the course website, right? So instead of, you will probably have a decent amount of lecture stuff, right, during these units, right, when there's no homework. So we're not meeting in class face-to-face for most of these lectures. But, right, these lectures will probably go over, right, the extended, the amount of time that we would be in class. And that's sort of just going to replace your readings. For certain topics, I may have some stuff written on the course website for you to read. But really, essentially, your reading for each unit is to read and watch everything on those unit pages. So instead of having like this assigned reading of page 38 to 45, right, you're just responsible for all of the information on these unit pages. I do my best to keep everything as organized as possible, right, with all my headers and all that stuff. So hopefully that will work for you guys. It should also be pretty handy when you go back to study for the quizzes and things like that. If you guys have questions about this stuff, please let me know. I'm trying to go through it rather quickly so you don't have to watch like an hour video of me. But if you have questions, if I didn't cover something, please reach out and let me know, and I will respond. So tokens, yay. So I started doing this for those of you who had me in the past. I started doing tokens last semester, and it sort of replaces extra credit. And I really liked the way that they functioned. So we're going to do that again. So during the semester, you can use a token at any point in time. You don't have to ask me. You can use a token at any point in time to extend the due date of any assignment by 3 days. This does not count for our quizzes and exams, but for everything else, you can extend the due date for any homework, any SPSS project, or even your final presentation. You can extend that by 3 days using a token, no questions asked. You don't have to email me asking to do that. Just send me your homework 3 days later and tell me, hey, I'm using one of my tokens. So that's what you can use them for during the semester. You start with 3. Everyone starts with 3. You get 3, so I guess 9-day extensions. 3-day extensions. Point blank, no questions asked at the beginning of the semester. You don't have to earn them. They're given to you. Or you can also earn more throughout the semester. You may have noticed on our Wealth Introduction to the course, you have your first token opportunity here. But you can use them now during the semester, extend any sort of homework due date by 3 days. Or what I would highly suggest doing is saving them. So if you save them for later, at the end of the semester, what happens is I have essentially a store that opens up on our course website, and you are able to use those tokens to purchase things. You can purchase extra points on an exam, on a quiz, or on a homework. You can purchase a reduction of requirements for your final presentation. You will have lots of options in this store for lots of other things that you can use your tokens for. And so, again, I highly recommend holding on to them if you can. I know getting a 3-day extension sounds great, and sometimes it's super necessary, right? If you are going through a lot, right, having some issues with other classes, or you have like 3 projects and papers and stuff due on the same day as my SPSS project, and you're overwhelmed, right, please feel free to use those. Don't drive yourselves crazy for this class. But I highly suggest hanging on to them if you can. Because if you can, they're going to be even more useful for you at the end of the semester. So that's my little spiel on tokens. If you have any more questions, let me know. In theory, if there wasn't COVID, I would give you like hard copies of tokens, and then you would like hand them in when you hand things in. But I don't want to touch anything that anybody else touched right now. So, they are virtual. They're pretend. And I will keep track of your tokens, but I also expect y'all to keep track of your tokens as well. So try not to email me at the end of the semester saying, hey, how many tokens do I have? I will put tokens into Canvas. That's what it's called. So if there's first token assignment, like it'll just mark complete or incomplete, but it won't count towards your total grade. So that way I can keep track of it, and you can keep track of it. But I do expect you guys to try to keep up with this stuff on your own. You should be able to remember, right, how many things that you used an extension for, especially considering we only have like 8 assignments other than quizzes all semester. All right. Next up, we have our course Discord. So this is another somewhat new thing for me post-COVID. And so I like to use these Discords as a way for us to sort of all ask questions together and sort of make up for that lack of being face-to-face all the time. Because one of the big benefits of being face-to-face is that one person can ask a question that 10 other people probably have, and I only have to answer it once. But thanks to COVID and the fact that we're not always face-to-face with one another, I have found that I tend to answer the same question 10 times via email, which is just time-consuming and frustrating. So if you have a question that is not specific to you, right? If you have a question about, are we meeting in class on Monday? Or when is the homework due? Or I'm confused about the wording in question 3 on SPSS project number 2, please put them in the Discord. If you put them in the Discord, I can see them. So can your classmates, and your classmates can see my answer to them. I found also last semester this tended to be pretty helpful for right, other students were able to answer somebody's question before I could even get to my Discord to answer the question. Right, we have several channels, right? So homework help. I have respect and dialogue in there. Normally, I have like a respect and dialogue section in the syllabus because normally I teach classes where we talk about really difficult topics, and it's really important to establish respect and dialogue guidelines. We're learning about math. So while we should all still be respectful of one another, if you want to put in guidelines for what you think our classroom behaviors or our online behavior should be, feel free. But I'm not really going to require that too much, right? But if you can do homework help, if you have a question about homework, you can do that. General questions, I have a tab for suggestions. So if you have suggestions for either another channel on the Discord server, suggestions for how I can make things better or easier for you, right? That might be, hey, Kristen, instead of giving us like one 30-minute video, could you maybe break that down into 3 10-minute videos, right? That would really help me. Any of that kind of stuff, send me your suggestions. Again, those of you who know me know that I am pretty flexible and adaptable. And if you didn't know that before, you should know that by now, because I just changed everything up in the course of a week for this class and my other class, right? I'm flexible, I'm adaptable. So I think that Google Class works best when it's working for all of us. So if there's something I could do to make your life better, please let me know. I also have a channel for off topic. So you can use that to send each other funny memes. I know a couple of you that are taking this class do like to send me funny memes. So if you want to send me things there, send me things there. If we want to talk about right, our favorite recipes, or if we have a question about something that is totally unrelated to data, but somewhat related to something I know something about, right? If you want to ask me about sexual assault statistics or legislation about the restaurant tipped minimum wage or things of that nature, right? You can do that in the off-topic section. And yeah, I find that this tends to be a pretty decent way to communicate back and forth with all of us, even though we're not going to be face-to-face as much. So you can download Discord on your phone, on your laptop, on your tablet, and you can also just access it through a browser window. However you do that's up to you. I suggest having the app. I think the app is somewhat easier for navigating, especially on your phone, but that's up to you. If you already have a Discord and your username is something like I love pickles 83, I don't know, right? It would be helpful for me if you could change your nickname for our server. So if you go up here to this little like arrow guy right there, and you click on him, if you look on towards the bottom on that list, it gives you the option to set nickname. And you can set your nickname just for this server for your actual name. And that would be super helpful. Last semester, I did not make students do that. And it got really confusing trying to figure out who the frick I was responding to. Also, if you don't know me, I'll do my best to not curse, but sometimes it happens. And sometimes awkward replacements for curse words come in there instead, like frick. Right, but here's our course Discord. It's really helpful. I really like it. If there are other questions and things like that, if you want other channels, let me know. I've also found last semester that like sometimes we all needed a break from some of the stress of everything going on, and we set up some like Among Us games and some other like online games that we played together. So if that's something that we feel that we need to do or that we want to do and just have like game time, not during class time, but other times, we can do that as well. While we were waiting for election results last semester, me and like 12 of my students all played like Among Us back and forth, and it was pretty fun. We can also do Jackbox. I've got lots of fun online games if anybody just needs a stress relief break. So that's Discord. And finally, the biggest thing that you will absolutely need for this course is IBM SPSS Statistics. Do not buy it. Stop what you're doing. Do not buy it. You have access to it through UNCG. It is on all of the computers in our computer lab, and it is also available on Citrix. So if you have not used Citrix before, you'll need to go to mycloud.uncg.edu. You log in with your UNCG credentials. You may need to download the platform thing to your computer, but it works for both Windows and Mac. Once you get in there, you will see all of the available student software. What you'll find over here, right, is IBM SPSS Statistics. That is the software that we will be using. I would highly encourage you to go ahead, log in. If you don't plan on coming into lab time, I would highly suggest going ahead and pulling this up on your computer, making sure your computer can run it. So I have my personal computer is this like 5-year-old MacBook. She don't run so well no more. And the IBM SPSS Statistics is a large program. And so even though you're running it through the cloud, my computer with 4 gigs of space left on it did not like using SPSS. So luckily the department let me bring home my computer from my office so that I get to do this with you guys from home, because SPSS is a pretty large program. So I would encourage you to go ahead, do Citrix if you're planning on using this, downloading the application or whatever, and trying to run SPSS. Granted, you don't know what you're doing and you don't have a data set yet, so you're not gonna be able to do a whole lot, but at least make sure that it opens and like you can click around and stuff. I will go ahead and post the GSS data sets on there. I will talk you through how to do that once we start getting into SPSS. So a couple weeks from now, when we start doing labs, I'll tell you how to download it, how to open it in SPSS, and sort of import that data. But if you feel like clicking around now, go for it. There are 1,000 YouTube tutorials for how to do this kind of stuff. So if that's something you're curious about, want to make sure that your computer can do, go for it. If you have questions about it, and you want my help ahead of time, that's cool. I can do that for you. We can walk each other through that. Yes, so Citrix is going to be how you use SPSS when you are not on campus. If you are on campus using a campus computer, it's already SPSS is already downloaded and installed, and you don't have to worry about it. But yeah, Citrix is pretty handy if you have not used it before. There are a lot of things that the university provides for its students, a lot of different applications and software that you have free access to through Citrix. So it's pretty cool, pretty handy. If you struggle getting into Citrix, let me know. Again, once we get into SPSS and get into the lab, I will make a video specifically on Citrix, how to do it, how to open SPSS, right? And then once you're in SPSS, how to navigate that and what to do. But just for now, I would encourage you to go ahead, do MyCloud, make sure that you have Citrix on your computer, like the application that allows you to access the portal. And so then it all runs through the cloud. I don't know. I'm not like a technology whiz. I don't know how it all works. But you do have to download the Citrix application. So I would go ahead and do that as well. And it's hopefully will save you some time and stress in the future. So that is my welcome to the class explanation. I know it was pretty fast. If anybody has other questions, please let me know. I am always around. Again, you can reach out to me on Discord. You can send me an email. Be very careful when you send me an email that the email address does not have a number in it. There is a student at UNCG whose email address is just like mine, but then has a number in it. And this poor girl probably receives at least 10 emails a semester, if not more, that are meant for me. So please, please, please make sure that you are sending it to the right KM Bethune at uncg.edu. So yep, make sure you do that. Or if you prefer to communicate via phone or text, I have a Google Voice number on our website that you can use to reach out to me. Please introduce yourself when you send me a text for the first time so I know who you are. If that Google Voice number gets abused in any way, shape, or form throughout this course or another one, I will take it down. So please be nice, please be respectful. Please don't send me like nudes or any weird shit. Like, see, there it goes. Don't send me anything weird, please. Don't take advantage of the fact that I give you my cell phone. Don't be like a former student who texted me on Christmas Eve asking for questions about an assignment that I had graded 2 months prior. Right? Let's try to maintain some professional boundaries here. But I find that a lot of times, if we're going back and forth about a question or like trying to troubleshoot something, doing it via email just tends to be clunky. And while I know that most professors don't give out their a cell phone number to their students because they think that it's important to encourage your professional email writing ability, I will also tell you that I have not had a single job where I did not have to text back and forth with my boss every once in a while. So think of our texting back and forth as sort of practice for being out in the real world, where you will have to text with people who are your quote unquote superiors. I don't think of myself as your superior, but like the university structure kind of puts me there. So again, be respectful. Don't abuse it. Don't send me weird shit. Because then I'll have to take my Google Voice number down. And I'm not going to give another one out if it gets abused. So, yeah, be nice, be kind, be good people. You guys are. I know most of y'all. For those of you who I don't know. I hope that we will get to know each other soon. And yeah, I think that is all I have for you guys. Again, any questions, please reach out. And we're going to do this together, y'all. We got this.